What is going on, guys? Brent's Bricks back here with another video, and upon popular request, we are building the Tantive IV. Usually I start the time lapse with the box still sealed, but I figured this time we'd go ahead and unbox it and see what the unboxing experience is like on this one. Yep, that is a lot of Lego. So I'm actually recording this part of this video the day before I planned on actually making it. I figured this was going to be a super long time lapse and probably something that I didn't want to sit and try to do all at once. But hey, you never know. I might be a madman and just finish this and be building until like 5 a.m. Who knows? And here is all the stuff spread out on the table here. We have a total of 13 bags, 4 of these pieces, and then of course the instruction manual and the stickers. I was thinking maybe there would be something kind of special about the unboxing, but nonetheless, it's pretty basic. And with all that out of the way, let's get straight into the time lapse. Alright, and here we are, about a day later. Originally, I wanted to try to challenge myself and do this all in one sitting, and well, I just didn't have that much time all at once. So maybe sometime in the future, I'll get another big build like this and try to do the whole thing all at once in a live stream or something. I know I usually go straight into the minifigures after the time lapse, but I already know this time lapse is probably like 3 whole minutes. So if you watch the entire time lapse, you're awesome. But I understand if you had to skip through it a little bit. But anyhow, capping off that time lapse, let's go ahead and look at the minifigures. For the first minifigure we're going to talk about in this set is the C3PO. Now, C3PO definitely is not the most exciting figure to get in this set. We've seen the same 3PO in a lot of other sets, but nonetheless, he is very important to have in a Tantive IV set. No new details to be seen here if you are a casual LEGO Star Wars fan or any type of LEGO Star Wars fan at all. I really don't think C3PO has been updated or changed in quite a while. But nonetheless, a very essential figure to get in this set. And the same thing goes for our R2-D2. One thing to point out, and it's not something that I or many other LEGO YouTubers have said before, but just the ridiculous quality control issue on the head printing on these figures. I mean, let me bring you in a little bit closer. Look at the bottom line on this side, and as we rotate around to the front, I mean, it just goes way up there. I mean, and it just looks, even at some points, just like it was hand drawn on there, especially right around there. I've seen a lot of LEGO R2-D2s and they're all usually off by a little bit, but this one is off by quite a bit. And it's just kind of unfortunate when you spend $200 on a premium LEGO set and they still just cannot get the R2-D2s down pat. Still a wonderful figure and an essential figure to get in a Tantive IV set, but I just really want to see LEGO get the quality control down on the R2-D2 head prints. It's been an issue that they have not been able to conquer for quite some time. Taking another look at this R2, it just doesn't make sense. Like, this is all lined up right. You know, like the very, very top is all lined up nice and good. And then just, I don't know what happens when they do the rest of the print, but it is just, I mean, it is almost not even all the way on the head at some points. And then at other points, the stripe is way up there. I've got a lot of R2-D2s in my day, but this one is not looking so hot. But it's hard to complain when R2-D2 is just such a common minifigure to get. I mean, maybe that's part of the reason why they can't get the head print down just perfectly. They probably just make so many of these that the bad prints are just going to happen on these, I guess. And for the next minifigure, we have a standard Rebel Fleet Trooper. This is the first Rebel Trooper in my personal collection, so I was definitely super happy to finally get my hands on one of these. The Rebel Troopers in this set do come with the metallic silver blasters, so that is a very nice touch there. A little bit of back printing on the torso, nothing going on the arms or on the legs. Also following up with a good print on the torso on the front. When you'll first put this minifigure together, you will think, dang, that is a big helmet. But then you'll watch A New Hope again and then you'll realize they really were working with some giant hardware there. This Rebel Trooper also has an alternate face around the back of the head, has a little bit of a smile going on there, and other than that, that is everything for this Rebel Fleet Trooper. For the next minifigure in this set, we have Captain Antilles. Now, you might remember Captain Antilles from A New Hope from this iconic scene. The Captain Antilles figure is a very nice one. He looks very accurate to what he looks like in the movies, both in the face and for the outfit. One thing that comes to mind that I think they could do for a Captain Antilles figure that would definitely make it 100% movie accurate would be to give him some dual molded legs. In the movie, he does have some brown boots to go with this figure, so I do think the dual molded legs would be one thing to just put this figure completely over the top and make it perfect. We have nice detailing on the belt buckle and the insignia there, reflecting in the light, looking very, very nice. Also, such a tiny, tiny detail they're able to achieve on that insignia right there. Really, really nice to see that from LEGO. They do some things so well. Like, you would not think that they were able to get those little tiny markings on that insignia perfect. But when it comes to making an R2-D2 head print straight, they just can't do it. I don't know. It puzzles me. Moving around to the back, he does have a little bit of back printing at the back, and if we remove the helmet, we will see an alternate face. For the alternate face on Captain Antilles, it is absolutely perfect and one that I do love to see. Again, they could have gave him a smile and then just a more serious look, but they gave him a smile and a terrified look as if Darth Vader is about to choke him to death. All in all, a very nice Captain Antilles here, and one that I am very happy to finally have in the collection. And for the Princess Leia in this set, we have a great design here. We have great prints on the front of the torso, running all the way down to the bottom of her dress. And if we go ahead and rotate her around, we will see great printing on the back, as well as the printing running all the way down to the bottom of her dress. Again, looking very nice. I believe this set was one of the only ways you could get this Princess Leia, but since we did have an X-Wing release earlier in this year and they threw in a Princess Leia to that, everything on these figures seems to be exactly identical, except for she gets a black pistol in the X-Wing, and in the Tantive, she is sporting the same silver blaster as are all the other Rebel troopers. One other difference of this set that you do not get when you get the Princess Leia and the X-Wing is they do give you some regular white legs so she can actually sit down in the Tantive without having to stand. All in all, a great way to get a Princess Leia, especially in this set when they give you her dress and her regular legs.
So I'm partnering you up with regular legs. Hey there.
Also, she does have an alternate face gritting her teeth there, as well as the same exact alternate face that you will get when you get her in the X-Wing. So something to think about if you do need a good Princess Leia, but you don't want to fork up the $200 to buy this Tantive, you can find the same exact Princess Leia minus the silver blaster and the white legs in the X-Wing. It's not like white legs are super uncommon anyway. And moving on to the figure that everybody wants from this set is the Bail Organa. To finally get a Bail Organa in LEGO form is definitely a huge plus. This is the first time LEGO has ever made a Bail Organa in all of the 20 years of LEGO Star Wars being a thing. He has a wonderful kind of olive green cape. I really am a big fan of the colors on this minifigure and the small detail with the little reflective bits on his belt, as well as the kind of fastener of his cape or whatever that detailing is supposed to be. Flip up his cape, he does have just a little bit of back detailing if you don't want to have him with his cape on. You flip his hairpiece around, he does have an alternate face as well. Definitely a great figure to get. He is a very essential character from the Star Wars prequels, and he also makes an appearance in Rogue One as well. I'm sure the value for this guy by himself on eBay is somewhere around $40, considering this is the only set he has ever came in. He also, like all the other figures of this set, do have the nice silver metallic blaster. And again, a super, super great figure. This is hands down easily my favorite of this set, and it's probably most of everybody's favorite of this set. Well, this thing is just way too big for the minifigure table here. And, yeah, let's go back over to the build table. The Tantive IV in all of its beautiful glory. Man, where do I begin on this thing? I guess we will go ahead and start from the very front of the Tantive here and go ahead and take a look at the inside of the cockpit. And as we go around the ship, we'll show off some of the details, and I'll go ahead and show you where all the minifigures go. Alright, so starting off with the front of the cockpit here, both of these sides are just going to pop right off just like so. So we'll slide both of these off, and we'll get a little bit of a better look at the interior of the cockpit. Getting a better in-depth look, I had to go ahead and take the camera off the tripod because just holding this big behemoth up, my arm was already getting tired. So if we go ahead and look on the inside of the interior, we'll spin this big old thing around a little bit. You will see that we have the floating control panel kind of just connected with just a gray droid arm there. We will have the same thing going on the other side. I'll give you a better look at that since we do not have a minifigure on this side yet, but I do love when LEGO puts these little dividers in the seats there. That way minifigures they're snug and they're in there, but they're not hard to get out. Also, you have a little window so Captain Antilles can look at his co-pilot there and make sure everything is all good on his end. And there we go with Captain Antilles in his chair with his co-pilot through the little window there on the other side. Now this is the only Tantive I have ever had, but I do know some of the older models did have printed cockpit pieces, so that's kind of really here nor there on what you really prefer. If we go ahead and put our cockpit pieces back on, the cockpit does look very nice from the outside, although there are some gaps in there as well. Some people might complain that the stickers don't really match the white of the actual pieces themselves. But to be honest, even when they print on something like this, the colors don't always match up either way. I don't think the stickers look bad as much as it's just kind of trying to find a way to fill in these gaps a little bit better. Maybe they could have done something different in between the two cockpit pieces there, but nonetheless, it does look very good. Got a little Just Too Good head on the cockpit there as well. Shout out to Just Too Good. He is definitely one of the LEGO YouTube goats. I guess we will just make our way back the ship here. We do have a very nice stripe going down the side there. That is indeed a sticker piece right there, but as long as you line it up right, it does look very, very good. We have very nice greebling detail going all the way down this side here. And then moving into the back, we do have some very nice usage of these sort of plain wing pieces, looking very, very nice. And I guess before we get into any more of the interior, we will go ahead and turn this around and look at it from the back. From this angle, I just think the Tantive looks like an absolute beast. I think this is definitely one of the more iconic angles to see this ship from, just like in the very beginning of A New Hope when this ship is trying to get away from the massive Star Destroyer. Okay, so let's talk about these engines here. There are 11 of them. You would think building this set that those are going to get pretty repetitive, but to be honest, none of them really felt repetitive at all, even though you are building kind of 11 of the same engine. You have a few of these engines that are a little bit of the same, but to be honest, throughout the entire building experience, none of the engine process felt repetitive at all. Also, building these engines was definitely a breeze, and there was nothing difficult or anything about putting these together. The engine design on the back is definitely very, very nice and one of the highlights of the set, but also, if we do want to get technical, one thing I noticed is that there are just a lot of gaps in between, and there is a lot of technique that you can still see at certain angles. And I kind of had those gaps in the back of my mind while building the back part of this Tantive. Every time I would put an engine piece on, I would think, is that where it goes, or is it supposed to slide over more and kind of fill in that gap, or what? Complaining about the gaps in the back in between the engines does feel like a little bit of a nitpick, because this isn't really necessarily a UCS Tantive IV as much as it's more of just a D2C type of set. Getting a better look at the top of the engines there is some wonderful greebling going on. I love how they use those paint roller pieces to add some engine detail back there. I think that is absolutely fantastic. Let's go ahead and slide our way back up to the front of the Tantive here. Here on the other side, again, like I was talking about, the stripe going on either side looks very, very nice. Again, some of the more similar greebling that you would find on the other side is present over here as well. Before we get into the bigger part of the interior, we will go ahead and look at the detailing on the center part of the Tantive. All four of these guns on top do spin around 360 degrees. We do have some nice detailing in between the guns, as well as the same going to be on the other side. And in the middle, we do have some interesting pieces used as greebling to show some detailing in the middle. Now, to get into this interior, all we have to do is just pull that right off, and we will show off the interior of this room, kind of a meeting room slash control room, whatever you want to call this main part of the interior. This is where you would put your Leia and your Bail Organa. So let's go ahead and put them in here. And this is where it is very important that Leia does have regular legs, so we can go ahead and bend those and sit her down in her seat. Maybe. There we go. And there is plenty of extra interior space in there to go ahead and store her dress piece right beside her. We go ahead and put Bail Organa in his seat. He does have plenty of room behind his chair for his cape. That way we're not bending and doing all kind of nasty stuff to that cape. I always love in LEGO sets when minifigures that need to sit down have capes, have enough space for the cape not to be folded or damaged. a very small thing about this set, but something that I can appreciate. We do have a sticker on this side to display some control panels as well as the other side. Also, we have some binoculars over there in the corner, and for the table over here, you do apply one sticker to that as well. All in all, a very nice interior space. Putting the roof back onto this interior, it is going to connect to these two studs in the back and the one stud behind Bail Organa. Sometimes it does take a little bit of moving around to finally get it in there, but it is fairly easy to put back on. Moving along to the back, we do have two nearly identical escape pods. Those both pop right off just like so, and they just connect on with these Technic pins on the side. What would be a Tantive IV without escape pods that R2-D2 and C-3PO can escape in? To break into the inside of one of these escape pods, you simply just pull the roof straight out, and it does have surprisingly enough space in there to fit both of the minifigures. You do have to sit C-3PO down like so, and then R2-D2 just kind of drops in there. To make sure he's down there far enough, that way you can put your roof back on. And just like that, you have all of your minifigures in the Tantive ready to go. Maybe. There we go. One last thing I do want to mention about this set before we talk about the final opinion is the convenience of this radar dish that can rotate back and forth just a little bit. But the importance of this radar dish also being a handle, which makes kind of a big, long, awkward set like this a lot easier to carry, whether you're just moving it around the room, whether you might be swooshing it around a little bit with the kids or whatever, having a good time. That handle is very useful. Speaking of the handle on a set this big, it also makes it very easy to go ahead and pick up and show you some of the detailing on the bottom. So there isn't a whole lot, but they do have some greebling going on the bottom. They do have this sort of cannon or whatever that's supposed to be there, as well as a rotating cannon on the bottom there, as well as the same one that is right on top of it there. As far as a couple other features of the set that I forgot to talk about, it does have some studs in there that you can fire off. Very cool. Lost one of them there. That's okay. And then on the bottom, we do have some spring-loaded shooters in there that can be fired off by pressing forward on these pins here, thus moving that cheese slope forward there and firing away your missile. And now it is gone forever. That is pretty much all the play features on this set. Let's go ahead and talk about the final opinion. And before we talk about the final opinion, of course, we have to talk about the box art. This is definitely one of my favorite LEGO Star Wars box arts that I have personally seen in terms of sets that I have actually opened up and built. I absolutely love the space background, the planet in the background, the black greebling detailing at the top. I mean, this is a great box. When you go in the LEGO store and you spend $200 on an awesome set like this, and as heavy as it is when all the parts and everything are in there, I mean, it definitely is a premium unboxing and premium build and everything. I don't really know why they can't call this a UCS set, maybe just because it's not big enough. But in terms of it being a premium experience just like a UCS set, I think it comes pretty close. Coming in at 273 pages, this book is definitely a hefty one. If we go ahead and flip into the first couple pages, we do have pictures and information about the LEGO Star Wars design team that was behind this Tantive. You can pause and read any of that if you're interested in any of those details, but very cool stuff nonetheless. Then, of course, you have the same stuff in different languages, which is always great to see. Some pictures of the Tantive from the movie. Even though this set comes in at 1,768 pieces, the building experience goes by very, very smooth, I will say. Nothing throughout the instruction book is special. We have just basic white Lego pages that are usually in most sets. And then when you get to the back, there are no ads for anything else. But on the very, very back, you do have this really awesome Tantive IV logo. It is definitely not a full-on UCS set, but it's definitely got Ultimate Collector's vibes to it, that is for sure. For the final opinion on this set, honestly, it's got to be a solid 9.5 out of 10. I mean, the only negative things I can think about it are kind of nitpicking the engine design and the gaps in there, and maybe you could have included one or two more minifigures since it is a $200 set, but I think 1,768 pieces, and because some of those pieces are fairly large, I think the overall value is definitely pretty decent. It is rare that every Lego set is perfect. I mean, a 9.5 out of 10 is a very good score. But with all that being said, I think that this set is absolutely worth the $200. I think it's a great display piece. It has some good playability to it as well. The minifigures are great. Got a couple exclusive ones in there, so that's always awesome. Yeah, so the Tantive IV, great set. At least I think so. Let me know in the comments what you think. Is it a great set? Is it overpriced? Does it not look as good as it could? Let's go ahead and talk about this one down in the comments section. I know this was a really long review, so if you guys watched this freaking movie of a review, you are the real MVP. Thank you all so much for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, all of that great stuff. You all are amazing. If you are new to the channel, I'm doing a giveaway for when I hit 400 subscribers, and I'm currently at 385, so only 15 spots left for that giveaway. I am giving away 2 Lego sets, so if you want to see details on that giveaway, go ahead and check out my last video. Again, I can't thank you all enough. It is amazing watching the community slowly grow. I love chatting with you guys in the comments, doing the giveaways. You all are awesome. This has been Brent's Bricks, and if you enjoyed that video, make sure you go back on my channel and check out the other LEGO Star Wars reviews I have done, as well as Harry Potter and Marvel, and many more to come in the future. As always, remember, never stop building.